Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.
You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 28th of October. India braces for cyclone Montha's impact, high alert in Orissa and Andhra Pradesh. No resolution as Afghanistan-Pakistan end peace talks in Istanbul. And devotees in India take holy dip, offer prayers at Chhath Puja culminates. And now for all the details. As cyclone Montha was set to make landfall later on Tuesday, several coastal districts in the Indian states of Andhra Pradesh and Orissa braced for the impact. Authorities had conducted evacuations and made all necessary arrangements. Orissa's Ganjam district and Vijayawada in Andhra Pradesh witnessed rough seas, strong winds and rainfall due to the impact of the cyclone. The cyclone over the west central Bay of Bengal had intensified into a severe cyclonic storm till the last reports came in. The landfall was expected along the Andhra Pradesh coast during the evening or Tuesday midnight, the Indian Meteorological Department said. Cyclones frequently hit India's east coast between April and December. A super cyclone that killed nearly 10,000 when it hit Orissa in October 1999 remains one of the country's deadliest natural disasters.
सर अभी तो हवा तेज चल रहा है, उसके वजह से थोड़ा बहुत मतलब हमको भी लग रहा है लैंडफॉल होने के बाद और भी ज्यादा कुछ हो सकता है सर। मछली मारने के लिए अभी तो 2-3 दिन तक जाने का कोई चांसेस ही नहीं है सर।
For any kind of eventuality, district administration is fully prepared. In the meantime, we have evacuated more than 2,500 people to self-shelters. And in respect of rural areas, in respect of urban area, 128 people so far have been evacuated. They have been kept in safe shelter.
Amid ongoing trade negotiations between the two countries, India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar on Monday met US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and discussed bilateral ties as well as regional and global issues. The meeting took place on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit in Malaysia and in the backdrop of the bilateral trade deal between India and the United States. 5 rounds of talks have been completed so far for the first phase of the bilateral trade agreement between India and the US. On Sunday, Foreign Minister Jaishankar held separate talks with Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. The 11-nation ASEAN is considered one of the most influential blocs in the region, with India and several other countries, including the US, China, Japan and Australia, being its dialogue partners. Moving on, the third day of talks between Afghanistan and Pakistan in Istanbul to broker a long-term truce ended without a resolution, the Reuters reported on Tuesday, citing Afghan state media reports and a Pakistani security source. The talks, being hosted by Turkey's government in Istanbul and facilitated by Qatar, aimed at ensuring that the ceasefire remains intact and that the two sides reach an agreement. Afghanistan's Foreign Ministry spokesperson and Pakistan's Army and Defence Minister did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The clashes began after Pakistan's airstrike this month on Afghanistan's capital Kabul, targeting the head of the Pakistani Taliban. Pakistan accuses the Taliban of allowing the Pakistani Taliban to operate inside Afghanistan. Kabul denies this. The South Asian neighbours agreed to a ceasefire in Doha on October 19, after days of border clashes that killed dozens in the worst violence since the Taliban seized power in Kabul in 2021. And human rights groups have once again raised alarm over Pakistan's tightening grip on press freedom. The Human Rights Watch has urged Islamabad to drop what it calls politically motivated charges against veteran journalist Matiullah Jan. A report.
The Human Rights Watch has called on Pakistan to immediately drop terrorism and narcotics charges against journalist Matiullah Jan, who is due to be indicted by an anti-terrorism court in Islamabad on 31st of October. The rights group said the case appears politically motivated, aimed at silencing Jan's outspoken criticism of police abuse and government overreach. Jan was accused of possessing drugs and committing acts of terrorism after allegedly resisting arrest in November 2024, claims he has strongly denied. The veteran journalist says he was abducted and targeted for his reporting. Human Rights Watch warned that Pakistan is witnessing a sharp escalation in attacks on press freedom, with hundreds of journalists and activists charged under repressive laws, including the Anti-Terrorism Act and the Prevention of Electronic Crimes Act. Using terrorism charges to punish journalists for their reporting undermines the rule of law and the public's right to know, the rights watchdog said, urging Pakistani authorities to end the misuse of the justice system to intimidate the media. The organization further called on the government to uphold its obligations under international human rights law, ensuring the right to free expression and protection for journalists carrying out their work without fear of persecution.
A controversy has erupted on social media after Bangladesh Chief Advisor to the interim government, Mohammad Yunus, presented a gift to Pakistan's Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee, General Sahir Shamshad Mirza, during his recent visit to Dhaka. The gift, a coffee table book titled Art of Triumph, Graffiti of Bangladesh New Dawn, featured on its cover what appeared to be a map of Bangladesh that allegedly included parts of India within its borders. The image has triggered strong reactions online, with several netizens accusing Dhaka of depicting Indian territories as part of Bangladesh. However, some Bangladeshi users on X have defended the book, claiming that it is not a map but a representation of the national flag that only resembles a map-like outline. India has not made an official response on the map so far. Meanwhile, the meeting in Dhaka also marked a revival of the long-stalled economic partnership between the two countries, with both sides discussing trade, investment and defence cooperation, first such session since 2005. And devotees across India gathered at riverbanks early on Tuesday to offer prayers to the rising sun, marking the culmination of the Chhath Puja. The festival, celebrated with deep faith and traditional rituals, symbolizes gratitude to the sun god for sustaining life on earth. Take a look.
Hindu devotees in parts of India, especially women, thronged riverbanks on Tuesday as they offered prayers on the Chhath Puja festival dedicated to the sun god. Hundreds and thousands of sari-clad women took a holy dip in the early hours of the day and offered arg or holy water to the sun god and smeared each other's foreheads with vermilion. The 4-day festival begins with thousands of women devotees observing fast and participating in prayer rituals, which culminate with taking a dip in water bodies.
स्पेशली जो होता है ना छठ पूजा, ये हमारे मतलब मेरे मायके में तो नहीं होता था, मेरे ससुराल में हो रहा है। तो शादी के बाद मेरा पहला छठ है, तो यहाँ पे हमको बहुत सारा चीज सीखने के लिए मिला। जैसे छठ के टाइम पे ना सारी चीजें एकदम अलग तरीके से की जाती है, तो बहुत शुद्धि तरीके से इसकी पूजा की जाती है, उगते हुए सूरज की और डूबते हुए सूरज की। तो सारे तरीके के फल, वेजिटेबल्स, जितने सब्जियां होती हैं, सब कुछ भगवान को दिया जाता है, चढ़ाया जाता है, बहुत श्रद्धा से पूजा किया जाता है।
During Chhath Puja, which falls on the 6th day of the Hindu month of Kartik, the sun god and goddess Chathi are worshipped as devotees seek blessings for the well-being, prosperity, and development of their families and children. The festival is celebrated with great fervor in the Indian states of Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and Jharkhand, along with some parts of Nepal. It is also popular in metropolitan cities like Delhi, Kolkata, Pune, and Mumbai, where a large number of people from Bihar and Uttar Pradesh reside.
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.
Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.